How we all doing? It's a little late. Sorry about that. Had a very busy day today. And I was scrambling to get the stream together in time. I'm going to start from the beginning. How we all doing? My name's Protoman. This is the Transformer Slag podcast, Saturday night live stream main event hangout, where the fans of the Transformer world hang out with me. We talk about the news throughout the week, break down little things here and there, and take super chats from the listeners. Try to figure out what's going on in the Transformer world like we always do. It's been a crazy week. Expect probably tomorrow or the day after a special New Toy Armada episode. Been doing a lot of stuff. It's been very busy. Despite the fact that the Transformer world wasn't too crazy in the news, it's been a busy week for the Proto Man, to say the least. So yes, I am the Proto Man. This is the face of the voice that you have to listen to Monday to Friday. I apologize for that, like I always say. But it is what it is. So we're going to get into the news. We're going to cover all the news here and there. Not much this week, but little things that we got to cover and take care of. A little bit of housekeeping. Get into some other information, and then we'll take some super chats from the fans and just relax the rest of the evening. Make our Saturdays awesome. So the first piece of news that I want to cover is to get rid of some misinformation within the Transformer world. It was April 1st. There was all kinds of stuff that was being thrown around, and a certain little repaint of this guy started bouncing around, and some people still fall for it, still to this day. We already got a super chat from Downright Superb saying BotBots, and he's got some good taste, because BotBots are where it's at. If you have not watched it, sponsor from Hasbro. But let's jump into that. So then, my oh my. This was an image that was surfacing and shifting around and jumping all over the place, and people arguing, and just me face-palming the whole time, claiming it's real. I believe this originated from a Spanish message board, claiming that this is a Generation Selects exclusive from Hasbro Pulse named Redshift. Now, don't get me wrong, you know me, I've been wanting my red Formula 1 Transformer forever, and to do the red Mirage from Diaclone, sure, downright, I'm down for that, man. I am down for that. But this is faker than a pair of tits on prom night, let's put it this way. Where do I even begin? Number one, the choice of the mold here is that of the clear Mirage. Now, I'll give credit to the person who faked it. They did a very good job making the fake, because they used the base body of the Siege Mirage, the basic one, and then used the head from the Siege Hollow 3-pack Mirage. And because you could not paint this straight up from the original, I mean, the gang molding on that is a little messy. So he would have had to do a really good job on that. The big giveaways more than anything, unfortunately, that says this is fake, is the packaging itself. Now, he went out of his way to use the original Siege Mirage's bubble packaging, which was the dead giveaway. Now, I'm just going to reach over to grab something here. Grab a few things, actually. Alrighty. So, normal, mind you, we'll get into another thing too, but normal Generations packaging, let me just grab out the exhaust here, has a bubble inside it, but it doesn't have a certain slope. Here's some Siege packaging. Let's take out the bubble here for a second. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing. Has a slope, because it's supposed to be in packaging like this that has a slope. So what the individual did was to kind of really simulate the authenticity of it, is they used a bubble that worked for a Mirage mold. Unfortunately, it has the slope, meaning he used the Siege one. And we also know that the recent packaging for any Generation stuff, sorry, I'm just throwing everything aside here. The recent packaging for all the generation stuff doesn't even use a bubble anymore. So this was just a really concentrated attempt to do as best they could to make a Mirage in red and give me a lot of hope. I do think one day it will happen. I kind of hope it'll actually be with the Kingdom 2-pack one for consistency's sake, because the original Diaclone Mirage was the Ligier Formula 1, not the Cybertronian Siege kind of thing. So kind of hoping more for that. But I mean, it could go either way. It could go either way. They could put that head sculpt on the Kingdom one and call it a day. But just to let you know, it's not real. A lot of people have been freaking out thinking it's real. I've been seeing so many heated arguments, and it's just me going like, guys, relax. Relax. It's not real. I want it to be real. Don't get me wrong. I want it to be real. I want my red Formula 1 Transformer. But that, unfortunately, is not the case. Next up, let's cover something else. This is a shout out to Cringe McCringle because he scanned the instructions for the core class of Legacy stuff. So we finally get a look at an official Hasbro sanction saying, hey, you take Legacy core class Hot Rod's weapon, you take Legacy Iguanus's weapon, you take Legacy Skywarp's weapon. They merge together to make a super weapon. So it's actually recognized, not just in art, not just in fans assuming, but it is actually put all together here in the instructions. Now, this raises the question, is this going to be an ongoing thing with each continuing wave of Legacy? Now, core class for Legacy Wave 2 is going to be featuring a Optimus Prime repack from Kingdom, a G2 Megatron that we are assuming is going to be the Kingdom core class Megatron done in G2 colors, and a brand new mold of a Shockwave. Will these possess also some kind of weapons that will then be exclusive to these releases, and then will also possess some kind of combined gimmick? Could be. But we will see what happens. I just wanted to bring that up because Cringe McCringle was lovely enough to share it with the world. And, it is what it is. Pretty cool stuff nonetheless. Still pretty cool stuff. Oh, Cringe, it wasn't you? Well, I saw you post it, so I'm going to give you props for it. You know what I mean? Whoever it was then, but I want to give props to whoever it was. Was it T-Formers 2002? Okay, so there you go. It was T-Formers 2002. I don't know. That was the first. I saw the first person to post it was Cringe McCringle, so I was like, okay. But just to give you an idea, so like chances are maybe Wave 2 will have something like that. So considering we have an Optimus, a Megatron, and a Shockwave, and they'll probably also have some kind of weapon pack-ins, we'll see what happens. Does it mean it's going to take away stuff from them? Is Optimus going to lose his gun? Is Megatron going to lose his weapon? Is Shockwave not going to have a weapon? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it is something to consider, to say the least. To say the least. Next up, and it's kind of the theme today, is Too Much Bumblebees. And I'm not talking about one that was recently revealed from Rise of the Beast from the CD. I'm talking about this mold. The Sting Shot Bumblebee. The one-step. It's not even a one-step technically because you have to do 2 twists. But very simple Cyberverse toy. But I think it's going to be setting some kind of records because we're going to be getting it yet again. So Buzzworthy Bumblebee is going to be getting some one-steps, and all of them are going to be related to the Cyberverse one-steps. So we got a repack of the Wheeljack, we got a repack of the Shockwave, and we got a repack of the Sting Shot Bumblebee. Now, keep in mind, this Sting Shot Bumblebee has been repackaged 5 times now. And I'm telling you, this has to be some kind of record in the Transformer world, especially within such a small period of time. The original Cyberverse release, the Power of the Allspark release, the Transformers Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures release, the Transformers Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures Dinobots Unite release, and now we got Buzzworthy Bumblebee Sting Shot Bumblebee release. So if somehow you missed it, I know I didn't. I just bought it because it kind of looked like Hot Rod. I was hoping one day we'd get a repaint, but you know, if you somehow missed it, there it is again. Probably at a more expensive MSRP because that first one we got was back in 2018, and it's been, geez, has it been 4 years? Can't be. It's been 4 years now. Yeah. So chances are inflation has kicked in and that buzzworthy one's going to be slightly more expensive than that original one. So if you somehow want to get it, it's out there. It's out there. It's out there. I want to do mention, and if you look with the packaging here on the bottom, on the top right here, Mirage is now part of this packaging too. I don't know if it indicates that we're going to be getting some kind of Mirage toy, maybe a recolor, repaint of the Siege Mirage, of the Kingdom one, something probably of that form, because it has the shoulder, it has the aesthetics of the G1 one. So something definitely is going to be coming to Buzzworthy Bumblebee at some point. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be a, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a some kind of Cyberverse Adventures Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series Mirage, whatever. We don't know. We don't know, but it is what it is, so check that out. And again, if somehow you missed that Sting Shot one, well, you got a lot of options. But in the end, it's just a one step. Next up, we're going to cover, there was a listing of a character that is going to be part of Legacy in the deluxe price point. We knew already it was going to be coming because it was part of listings from like back in late 2021. So it's not a really big surprise, but was the big thing I want to take away from it is that it has a Amazon listing that has a little bit of text with it. And I just want to break down that text and what it might tell us, what it might be a retool or a repaint of. So Crankcase, we knew that he was coming. We saw the listing, and his listing here says Crankcase action figure converts from robot to off-road vehicle mode in 14 steps. Remove front grille of vehicle to reveal a large blaster accessory. Now, there's a deluxe toy that we have right now that Crankcase could be an easy shoe-in of a repaint retool of, and that's our Legacy Skids. And Legacy Skids also has two little indentations on the mold already for potentially a grill accessory or something like that. Combined with the fact that both Skids and this Crankcase transform in 14 steps. So, I'm just saying, maybe something could be happening here. Could be, could not be. Just want to put it out there. People could make their own conclusions. But it does kind of make sense, and we've seen this in the past when we were comparing past Amazon listings with Transformer product where they had the same amount of steps. So, could be. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it'll be a brand new mold and it'll actually have that Trigger Con gimmick and everything. It's possible. But at the same time, we don't know. It's just something I just want to put out there for you guys to kind of scratch your chin over and go, I wonder. But I mean, those two little indentations there on his chest and on the front of the vehicle, they clearly are for something, because we kind of had the same thing years ago with AirRaiser. When we had the AirRaiser Kingdom figure, she had those indentations on the back of her Hawk mode, and a lot of people were like, what are those for? What are those going to be there for? People were going, oh, it's for a Tiger Hawk combiner, or it's going to be for like when she gets her Transmetal mode, and then ultimately in the end, it was because it was going to be a heavy retool that was going to turn into Pterosaur, and that was just part of the mold that is going to help get to that point A to point B. And it might be the same thing here. Totally might be the same thing here. Just a piece of thought, just something for you guys to think about. And then you could go on the message boards and argue about it. Because it gets pretty crazy sometimes. Gets pretty crazy. I mean, this was, I swear, guys, the amount of yelling that I saw over this was insane. It was insane. It reminded me of that Grimlock Kingdom Photoshop that we saw a while back. and people swearing it was real, and ultimately in the end it wasn't. Yeah, anyways, forget that. Last thing we're going to cover is going to be, see, we have our sponsor, Symbiote Studios, but they're actually doing a big reveal this weekend. And they're going to be, actually, they're at WonderCon right now as we speak. And at WonderCon in the Anaheim Convention Center, April 1st to the 3rd, if you're in the Anaheim region, be sure to check it out because WonderCon's got a whole bunch of Transformer goodness there. But specifically, if you go to the Symbiote Studios booth, aka booth 1009, you could check out all the brand new Transformer pins, the brand new exclusive Transformer collab t-shirt with Catnip Bravo, as well as the Catnip Bravo pins, the Catnip Bravo collab plush, the new Transformer pins, the new Power Ranger pins, the new Magic the Gathering pins, all the Hasbro brands. And if you were there Saturday, do a little bit of rock, paper, scissors with Catnip Bravo to get some free pins. Check that out too. I don't know if he'll be there tomorrow, so you'll have to see. But if you have not gone, you have your you still have a chance tomorrow for getting some cool exclusive stuff. Also, as of this moment, all of the pins that you see of the Transformer ones, as well as restock of the new plush in the back here, and then some over here, is going to be hitting the website right now. So if you go to symbiotestudios.com, link is in the description below if you don't know how to get there. Everything is there. Except for, I think, the Optimus Prime pin set. I think that one's sold out already. But the Megatron one is still there, so get that one while you still can. And the Unicron, there's very few stock left of the Unicron plush. That is absolutely massive compared to the others, just to give you an idea there. But go check that all out. Awesome stuff from Symbiote. And hopefully we'll get some more information from them soon, because we do have Wave 4 that is still to come later this year. Hopefully maybe next week. Maybe next week we'll have some reveals for you guys of some of those future plushes from Wave 4. But keep in mind, it's going to be probably very hard for you to guess who they are. Probably very, very hard. I mean, I can't guess who they are. It's impossible. Those silhouettes. I mean, it's clearly Drift and Botanica, and I think that last one, it's got to be Bludgeon. It's got to be. I mean, but what do I know? What do I know? And then, of course, check out all their other Hasbro-sponsored plushes and pins, whether it be My Little Pony, Power Rangers, and G.I. Joe. Again, I really like the helmet set of the Power Ranger ones. That's all really cool, from the original Mighty Morphin with a little bit of Die Ranger at the end with White Ranger. So good stuff, good stuff. So check out Symbiote Studios also. Pick up your pins. Pick up your pins. And last but not least, and I think I saw Aaron Archer in the chat. I think he came in. Part 2 is coming. It's coming. Hopefully tomorrow it will go live. All goes according to plan. It's an hour and a half segment, part 2 of the Transformers Armada behind the scenes segment. Part 1 is up right now, if you like, along with all the other Hasbro and Kenner brand conversations that we have on the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. It's a separate channel. If you're listening to this channel and you enjoy what I do, go check out that other channel too. Be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe so we can hit 1,000 on that channel. And then we can even do live streaming on that channel one day. Instead of having to drag Aaron over here. He doesn't want to have to come here in this seedy channel. You know, he should have his own channel where he's drawing the amazing stuff from our childhood. But either way, check that out too. Again, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. And hopefully, part 2 will be live. We'll be live tomorrow. Hopefully. If everything goes according to plan, it's a fat, juicy 2-hour file that's going to take a while to upload in HD. It's a very visual podcast, so you'll really like it. A lot of cool images and stuff from behind the scenes of Transformers Armada, if that was your jam back in the day. But that's more or less it. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything this week. Only stuff that came in the P.O. box was some Mega Man stuff from my buddy David Cabal. He sent me some. Mega Man stuff that I was trying to get a hold of. Aside from that, just keeping it real 110. And there wasn't much else in the Transformer world, unfortunately. So we'll open it up to Super Chats. We'll take some questions from the YouTube members and the Super Chatted fans in the audience today. And we'll just relax and just enjoy until 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. Again, I apologize for being late. It was a very crazy week, and today was just stacked. Just absolutely stacked today. It was absolutely nuts. And we got our first super chat. Actually, Downright Superb was our first super chat, but our second super chat from Aiden Tolbert, longtime super chatter. Thank you, Aiden. And Aiden says here, the Dinobots need their own movie with Megatron. Well, I mean, considering how... I mean, Jaws D could account for this. We went to see Age of Extinction on like a preview screening. Like, we got like a preview screening kind of thing, and we were handed a fat amount of tickets and stuff. And I remember being so pissed that like the Dinobots showed up in like the last 15 minutes of the movie, despite the fact that they were hyped up the whole time. So the question I have to you then is, and I think I already know your answer, but are you going to want the Dinobots to be represented in its true Michael Bay incarnation that we already saw in Age of Extinction and The Last Night? Or do you want something that is more in the G1 flavor with the aesthetic that has been kind of established with the Bumblebee movie moving forward? I think I probably know your answer, but the question is do you want that? And the thing is, too, is do you think that a character like Grimlock could carry a movie alone without an Optimus Prime or a Bumblebee from Paramount and Hasbro's perspective? Because those guys are kind of scared when it comes to that kind of stuff, unfortunately. They don't really like to swim too far away from the land, let's put it this way, when it comes to that kind of stuff. They get a little nervous without their life jacket that is Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. Even though a whole entire Bumblebee movie didn't exactly rake in a crazy amount of money, so, you know, there's a lot to be said there, too. I think more than anything else, the Rise of the Beast movie is going to tell Hasbro and Paramount and E1 Entertainment a lot about where they need to go next with the brand in a lot of ways. In the same way that I'm pretty sure Hasbro, when they put out that 2007 movie, and I'm pretty sure Aaron in the chat could attest for this, they probably didn't count on Bumblebee exploding like he did in terms of sales and popularity. And as a result, became kind of the direction of the entire brand for a good almost near decade. So whatever happens with Rise of the Beast in terms of toy sales, in terms of interest from the public, in terms of ticket sales, in terms of feedback, is really going to kind of steer the ship for the brand in a lot of ways. And we won't feel it right away. It's not like Rise of the Beast is going to come out and then boom, okay, all of a sudden now it's all going to be Beast Wars stuff if it does well. That has a lead time of a year to a year and a half. I mean, the success of the 2007 movie wasn't really felt until we got to Transformers Prime, and animated was kind of quietly just being pushed to the side, unfortunately, when it came to that. So that's kind of how I process it in my mind in a lot of ways. Mike Rosen says, my Diaclone Ironhide shipped out. Can't wait to get my BA Badass. It looks really cool, that one. That's the Protecto Black colored eHobby Ironhide based off of the Diaclone colors. Looks really good. And it's a good opportunity to get that mold because the red version, the original version, was with that prowl that was ridiculously difficult to get and is scalped like crazy now in the secondary market. So good on you to be able to get it. Although, in my opinion, I think the best Ironhide repaint retool so far that we've gotten has been the Siege Crosshairs repaint retool. I don't know, it's just my personal favorite of the bunch. Looks really, really good, that one. Like it a lot. I remember when I got that one, I was like, oh, I want to like reenact the season 4 intro with crosshairs sliding and the sparks and everything. Really cool stuff. But good stuff, man. Good stuff. I have the only stuff that I have pre-ordered right now in terms of Transformer stuff is just the Masterpiece stuff, and unfortunately, because it's coming from Japan, and Japan right now has everything suspended to Canada, so everything's been kind of in limbo. I have a lot of stuff that's been in limbo for a while. I want to say like 6 months minimum. So I'm just kind of waiting for that that shipping suspension to kind of end, and then I'll be able to get all my stuff. But it's going to be a bit of a wait, unfortunately. It's going to be pretty crazy because I get a feeling I'm just going to get everything in one shot. I'm going to get like 5 masterpieces and a whole bunch of things. It's going to be a lot to take in one day. And I'm going to be like, hey guys, here's what I got in the mail, and it's going to be a lot of stuff. I even got some cool like old Japanese stuff that is just sitting in a warehouse in Japan somewhere waiting to get shipped out. My buddies in Japan too, they have a few things they have to ship out. And again, EMS shipping is the cheapest and safest shipping, and I just want to go about that. I don't want to do stuff with DHL. It screws me over, so it's something we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know how bad it is for other people, unfortunately, like when it comes to the shipping with Japan, but it's been pretty brutal. It has been pretty brutal for Canada to get stuff, which sucks because almost everything I get now is from Japan. Like before the big V kind of wrecked everything, I'd have to say 80% of my purchases online would come from Japan. Downright superb with the member chat. Proto, I've been messing around with that Leader Astro train. That train is so good. I think I love trains now. I don't like bullet trains. How many traditional train transformers do you know of? Traditional ones, you'd have to right away outside of Astro Train and Loco from the GoBots. You have to jump right away to. You can barely see them. They released them in Transformers Universe. It was the Micromaster 6 Combiner 6 train. He's a mixture of bullet trains and traditional trains. Aside from that, unfortunately, there's not much. The sad truth is that in the Western world, we're not that big on trains unless it's like Thomas the Tank Engine. It's kind of weird. Like even though it's such a big and integral part of like American history and the Great Railroad and how we all got around and stuff, culturally it's just not a big thing. All the other train stuff that we got is bullet train based. So like JRX, aka Rail Racer, I believe it was called in America. When we got Astro Train in Classics, they made him a bullet train. No, they don't do trains, man. They really don't. It's really a Japan kind of thing. And they love their bullet trains. I mean, Shike Leon is literally an entire Transformer-like show that's just bullet trains. So it's something where, I mean, it'd be cool to see more of it. But every time they do a train transformer, they just go, okay, Astro Train, And again, you have to go to GoBots, and then there's Loco, who I have mint on card I'm looking at right over there. It's unfortunate. And in terms of like, someone mentioned here Raiden, but Raiden is a Japanese thing, unfortunately. There is some non-bullet train flavors of Raiden, but you have the original toy, which is upwards of $1,000. And then you have the masterpieces that are coming up, which will probably cost you upwards of $1,000 to get the whole set. So even then, it's not the best option, So it's something where it's unfortunately not that popular. It's a shame because, like, I mean, me as a kid, I loved Thomas the Tank Engine and Shining Time Station, which was like kind of its sequel series in a lot of ways. And I always loved trains. I lived literally like when I used to live with my parents, there was a train track near where we used to live. So, it was a big part of my childhood, and it's just not popular. Like Japan's the train people. They love, like, if we're going to get anything trains, it's going to be Japan. That's how we're going to get it every time. Every single time it's going to be that, you know? I know that there's a lot of third-party stuff. They did a lot of the Heart of Steel series. If you remember that, there was a third-party company. I believe it was Mastermind Creations, MMC. They did some train stuff. They did like a whole bunch of different train things and traditional trains. But that is, again, that's third party, you know? So like, that's why I left out Japanese stuff. I left out third party. From a Western release, unfortunately, that's a very thin list. It's a very, very thin list, which is a shame because trains are cool. Trains are cool. I like those little, they have like these little Thomas the Tank Engine ones where you put a AA battery and it actually like runs on a track. I would have been crazy for those as a kid. Those didn't exist. I had my HO scale train set. I actually still have the set to this day. I still have it all. It's all in my crawl space from my childhood. Let's just say there wasn't many garage sales in the Proto Man household growing up. There was one or two, but there wasn't many. So a lot of things didn't end up for sale, unfortunately. So ended up keeping a lot of my toys from my childhood. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ones though. I don't think there is any. I really don't think there is any others. Like, it's just that they really kind of avoid that. Like, I mean, Aaron Archer, we talked about it on the Armada one where, you know, when they started co-developing with Takara, like Armada era moving forward in 2002 with the you know, the Brian Goldner era, and there was that co-development with Takara. I imagine every alt mode was discussed on both sides of the globe and going like, hey, we want to do this. Hey, we want to do that. And what is marketable for both sides where, you know, a pickup truck, you know, a Ford pickup truck doesn't have that same marketing strength in Japan that it does in, say, like America. And on the flip side of that, a bullet train in Japan, it does very well, but here in America, it's not really a thing, you know? So it's kind of, you know, it's kind of one of these things where there's this, you know, there's this issue where you have to find that balance, and they still kind of co-develop still to this very day, even more so than before. Back then, they would co-develop, but they still kind of had their own paint schemes, and they still kind of had their own naming. But now they co-develop, and like paint schemes are shared in general. I mean, there's a premium finish line and stuff like that, but in general, the paint schemes are the same. Everything is the same. The naming conventions are the same, and sometimes even the packaging is the same with a couple of stickers slapped on it or stuff. So, you know, there's very few. Unfortunately, there's very few opportunities for a traditional steam engine to exist if Japan gets their say in general. You know, it kind of sucks because they're not a big fan of it. Again, like it's very American culture, the steam engine kind of thing, where Japan, I mean, unfortunately, like China has more of a connection to the steam engine kind of era because they helped build those railroads, which is a fact, you know. Just a dad who loves toys more, Transformer toys more than his kids. Proto Man, thank you for what you do. Thank you for the kind words. Media Max, Proto Mang, I can't wait for the BotBots fanfic where they go into an adult video store. I don't think that episode's coming. I do not think that episode is coming, giggity. I didn't see that on the map in the mall. Otherwise, that might be why Dave was always so tired and distracted on his phone. For more reasons than one. I'm hoping for more BotBots, actually. I just want to... I hope there's more episodes on their way. I feel like we got just a small taste. And I'm really curious to see how well it did, how much viewership it got, how much it's going to move the needle for toy sales. I mean, that's the one thing that pisses me off is that there was no cohesion with the toys. Like, literally, the show comes out at possibly the worst time for the toys' shelf life. Like, does anyone see BotBots on the shelf right now, whether it be old stock or new stock? No, we're kind of in this purgatory. It's not Wave 5, but it's not Wave 6 yet. We're just kind of in between where it's all the remnants of Wave 5 and that's it. And in the case of Canada, Wave 0, because we have nothing over here. So if anyone watched that show and got excited, they can't even go out and make an impulse purchase. And by the time that excitement recedes, which sometimes could be just a couple of days after watching it, they're going to go watch Mandalorian and want to go buy a Star Wars toy. And guess what? That Star Wars toy will be there at Toys R Us or Target or Walmart or whatever. So that was a big mistake, where I understand they wanted to put it out there. They waited later, but they really should have made sure there was product out there. You can't do that, man. You can't. Like, most of those sales with a very specific audience are literally just impulse. They watch the show, they binge it for 10 episodes, they get on that train, they go, oh my God, this show's cool, I want to go buy product, and then they go to Walmart and it's not there. And then they don't want to leave empty-handed, so they buy something else. And what if they don't buy something that's not Transformer related? What if they don't buy something that's not even Hasbro related? Then you really lost them. And I used to see that. I mean, I don't want to name names, but there was fans in the fandom, friends of mine, that they would go to Walmart, and if they didn't find any new Transformer product, they'd be like, yo, that Lego set's looking real good right about now. And it's just like, ooh, no, you're losing them. You're making them spend money in other areas, you know? So, I don't know. That's one thing I've always felt was kind of weird about BotBots, is they should have really planned it better. Tom Laney wants to know, think you touched on this in another podcast, but if they're going way back for characters and color schemes, why not make new characters by changing colors, like, say, the Constructicons? They don't always be green. Well, yeah, they were orange in the UK, and then we got that yellowish kind of, almost kind of like this, that yellowish kind of orange for G2. Yeah, those colors exist. You even have the Shattered Glass colors if you want to really go deep cut, where it was kind of like medic colors. The question is do they want to do that? To make a new character means you have to make a new trademark. If you make a new trademark, are you going to use that trademark again? It's one thing to make a new trademark like, you know, Medicastron, and then they use it for that Constructicon team. But are they going to use it again? Was it worth it to do that trademarking? Was it worth it to create that new IP and that new character? Was it worth it to hire someone to write the copyright on the packaging or for the website? You know, like, it's... And to think up something new, as opposed to, hey, copyright guy, I need you to write a Mirage bio. So he's a spy, and he turns invisible. Like, you don't even have to, like, think for 5 seconds when you write those bios. So you make a new character, and oh my God, now the gears actually have to turn for a moment. Sometimes they don't, unfortunately, but I don't know. I think that they always play it safe. Right now, they're playing it super, super safe. And it's just so much easier for them. That's why I love BotBots, is because that's all these new characters and new trademarks. There's all this fresh ideas and fresh stuff, where if Legacy gives us a new fresh character, like that Energon monster, I guess, that's exciting, because everything else is stuff we've seen in the past. You know, it's nice to see some characters that haven't gotten a toy in 20, 30 years. You know, those ones are cool. But, you know, like Iguanus is a good example. He hasn't gotten a good update of his original G1 version. That trademark has always been around, whether it be in Beast Wars or otherwise, or even in the Universe line. But, you know, it's just nice to finally get something that throws back to the old Pretender from 30 years ago. But they still play it safe. They still, even Iguanus, like, hey, we're going to do Iguanus. And it's like, yay, but... Then when you look at Iguanus as a trademark, it's like, no, they've been doing Iguanus as a trademark for years. And they're not actually taking a risk by doing Iguanus, because they had a Beast Wars one, they had a Transmetal, they had a Universe version. Granted, these are all repaints of pre-existing stuff, but, I mean, it's there. It's there. Tom Laney, need new character, new designs, Legacy is a start. Well, outside of Energon Monster, which we still don't know what that is, there's nothing that's really new characters, unfortunately. I mean, that whole list, there's nothing that's like new characters, really. It's all stuff that's already existed in toy form, even if it was 30 years ago still. Downright Superb Proto, any repaint remolds you're surprised we didn't get? I was convinced that we would turn Titans Returns Trigger Happy into Cyclonus. Shocked that didn't happen. Now I think they just wanted to do a new fresh Cyclonus. I think sometimes you have certain characters where you go like, oh yeah, you could make a Cyclonus out of Trigger Happy because of the way his wings are shaped, but at the same time, that's a character that you also want to kind of do its own mold. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times people, they look at Jazz and they go, oh, you could do Minerva out of that. But then part of me is like, you could also do a brand new Minerva. You know, you don't have to do an old school Minerva. A repaint, retool Minerva. You could actually do something from the ground up. So I think that's more the case with them, is I think they looked at Cyclonus, and I think rightfully so, because everyone loved that Kingdom one. I think it was the right idea to kind of do something fresh. In terms of what I'm surprised didn't get, I mean, any of the obvious. Go down the list. I mean, pick a mold, and there probably is a repaint that didn't happen that could have happened. Like, look at Six Shot that we just talked about not too long ago, about the Brave segment just like 3 days ago. We never got Great Shot, you know, like in terms of like, no, we did get Great Shot, but we never got Six Night, was it? I don't remember. We didn't get one or the other in the West, at least. We got it in the Legends scale. Not the Legends scale, Legends price point. But, you know, it's something where, you know, there's certain repaints that you could see happening and they just don't. Look, we talked about Metro Titan. How did we not get Metro Titan? Maybe the Titan class didn't sell well and they didn't want to do it. Also, sometimes, and this is a truth also, sometimes it's just not the slot. You know, they go, okay, here's a wave. We have room for 4 deluxes. And then the next wave, room for 4 deluxes. Next wave, room for 4 deluxes. They just don't have the opening for it. Yeah, we have Generation Selects now and we have Hasbro Pulse, but there's only so much that the factories could churn out. There's only so many ideas that could be put on the production list. There's so many lines that have that spaces for those deluxe price points. I mean, I think the reason why we have so much now, and we're kind of spoiled in a lot of ways, is because, I mean, we have like these deluxe buzzworthy Bumblebee 4-packs. Or we have like Generation Selects, they put like one out every 2 months. Or we'll have like, you know, Walgreens, they want an exclusive, or Target wants a red card exclusive. So those opportunities to do those repaints exist, where if they didn't want to do a exclusive Target, you know, buzzworthy Bumblebee blue streak, in this case they call it Silver Streak, maybe it would have never happened. Much like how we didn't get that in the original Classics line. How we got all the colors except that. We never got the blue streak. Downright Superb wants to know, I hope we get Masterpiece BotBots in 20 years. What are the odds of getting BotBots cameos in the future live action movie? Well, just to go to the first part, you know, as of this year, it's the 20th anniversary of Transformers Armada, and we don't have Armada masterpieces. So, BotBots is going to have to really shake up some trees and make some money for to them to get the masterpiece treatment. I'll just be happy if they get like decent third-party treatment, you know? Like I'm seeing some really cool stuff that people are doing with 3D printing, but I mean like if a third-party company actually gets behind it. I don't know if they will. I don't think so. Third-party still, you know, they're very in the G1 bubble. They don't really like to do much else outside of that. Every TFCon third-party preview panel, like 99% of it is unfortunately Generation 1 stuff. They rarely go outside of the comfort zone. Yeah, here's your odd Energon or Armada thing, or oh, there's that one company, Transart, that does the odd Beast Wars stuff, but it's like 90% G1 still. So Andy Davis says, I'm late again. Howdy, y'all. Howdy do, Andy. Welcome to the craziness. How much time we got left? We got 45 minutes left to do some super chats. It's been flying today really quick, but mind you, I was late too, unfortunately. Media Max wants to know, Proto Man, what's the deal with similar Transformers? How are Sunstreaker and Sideswipe brothers, but Seekers aren't? Ask Ask the writers, ask the copywriters specifically. I guess in this case, it would probably have to be Sunstreaker and Sideswipe. I'm going to assume we're probably done, because now there's more information that's surfacing than not everything. Not everything was done, but actually no. Let me look at the Universe Guidebook. Where is it? The old school one. One moment. Where is that one? Where's that Japanese book that I had? Because it has like all the facts. Because I know that. Because for the longest time, everyone always talks about how. Sorry, I want to double check this to be sure. See, the thing is that, like, you know, Bob gets credited for a lot of the early G1 stuff, but Jim Shooter also gets doesn't get enough credit for a lot of stuff that he kind of thought up too. Like, I think he was the one who thought up Optimus Prime's name. So, but Bob Bugansky, like, you know, he's probably the one you'd have to ask. But when it comes to why, I mean, they're both Countach, you know, LP 500s. One of them just has a bigger, crazier engine, and they just thought, you know, in my fanon when I was a kid, I used to always assume, you know, Blue Streak and Smokescreen and Prowl were brothers. The Seekers I never saw as brothers because I always saw them more as army builders, much like Reflector and the crew. Decepticons, I always felt like they have to build their armies out. There's no like camaraderie or family kind of going on there. Technically, I mean, when you think about it, Sunstreaker is technically Starscream's clone, so that makes him a brother, in a sense. And same thing with the animated incarnations. Tom Laney, do you display accessories or weapons with your figures, or do you store them so not to lose them? 99% of the weapons that come with figures, I put them on the figures. If somehow it's like they have like 3 weapons and I only have 2 hands, I'll try to figure out a way to store the weapon on the figure. Sometimes there's an extra peg or something. The only stuff I really store away in terms of weapons or like accessories is masterpiece stuff, because especially like the Beast Wars stuff where it comes with multiple faces and everything. That stuff I store away, and all those blast accessories. All the stuff that started with Siege, like all those blast, like those explosion things. I have them all over there. I'm not going to reach for it right now, but you know, those are the only things I really store away otherwise. They also started some of them with Cyberverse. They did a bunch too. Cringe McCringle with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Cringe McCringle, for the $5 of awesomeness. Proto, why haven't we got Generations figures for Sunstorm and Slipstream? Is it because the trademark or a lack of fan interest? I think we're going to get a Sunstorm. I think it's just a matter of time. They're just waiting for the opportunity. And Slipstream, I think it's a trademark, unfortunately. I think they kind of let that one slip, no pun intended. I think they're just waiting for the right opportunity, because we had Slipstream in Cyberverse, and I believe it expires this year. So maybe we'll get something, maybe not. There's nothing that we know of, so it might actually get discontinued. But Sunstorm, we're going to get something for sure. Sunstorm, they have been consistently putting out Sunstorm products since 2005 in the West. I mean, we even had, I remember there was like a little mini-con from Cybertron that was named Sunstorm. I think that was one of the first versions. And of course, you could barely see him right there. That was made from the thrust mold during Universe. I mean, obviously there's stuff in Japan too and everything. And then we got all the masterpieces and everything here too. But, I mean, Slipstream had a little bit of it. I think she had three or four toys in Cyberverse. I just did a photo of it recently, actually. I think she had 3 or 4 toys in Cyberverse. and that kind of refreshed that in 2008. But 2009, 2010, 2011, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. We're right on the wall. So we will see. We will see. That one I can't tell you, unfortunately. MediaMax Protoman, did you ever get your new TV? Can you reveal the size? Giggity. Yes, I did. I got my new television. I installed it in the bedroom. Giggity. It is a 40-inch. It's not very large. Giggity. Primarily because I'm not sitting too far away from it, so I don't want to go blind. It's just because I just wanted to have a TV in the bedroom. Because sometimes when it's a freezing winter morning in Canada, sometimes you just don't want to go out of bed, but you want to play like Nintendo Switch. So, in the living room could be a little cold. So it's kind of the thing. Like, people don't realize, like, this is the basement of my house, and I have a heater right here. You can't see it. There's a heater right here for when it's really cold. I mean, now the weather's getting better. Canada is no longer the frozen hellscape than it normally is right now, but it's a pretty good TV. It's a good TV. It's a smart TV. I got a Roku. It's not like super expensive. I don't need anything too crazy like, HD nuttiness. Just something that I could watch TV on and I could essentially play my Nintendo Switch on. That's about it. What else we got here? David Cabal, what's up? Proto fam, BotBots forever. What's up, David? How you doing? Where are we at? I hope I don't want to miss anything here, guys. I apologize. Downward Spurs says, Proto, any other active trademarks that a rival company would love to poach? A name that no other character uses. Oh, I know for a fact that like Hot Rod, if it ever gets dropped again, Mattel's going to swoop in and grab it again. Like, it's funny because if you look, Mattel, when they got the Hot Rod trademark, they did a whole bunch of weird stuff with it. They did a bunch of little Hot Wheels stuff and like these transforming little robot stuff and everything. I actually have them in the display upstairs just because of its Hot Rod lineage. What Mattel normally does, because Mattel, they're very lucky. They're not like Hasbro has to like put out complex, multiple plastic product to have those trademarks on. Mattel, man, they just print up another die-cast Hot Wheel toy to put onto the case of 28. Anyone remember the toy line Dino Riders from the 80s? It was like dinosaurs that had like armor on it and humans would ride it, or aliens. Mattel keeps the Dino Riders alive, like trademark alive, throwing it on Hot Wheels toys. Oh, hey, Attack Pack. Awesome toy line. What do? They just throw it on Hot Wheel toys, even though Attack Pack was Hot Wheels, but that's what happens. I'm pretty sure they're looking at everything. I'm pretty sure, Mattel's looking at Jazz because there was a female wrestler named Jazz, and they probably would like to make a figure of her, but right now the Jazz trademark is with Hasbro. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that. I'm pretty sure there's certain ones that they'd love to just swoop in and grab it. Giggity. No pun intended. John Mayers with the $5 super chat. Thank you, John Mayers. Thank you for this love and support. With Combiners coming back with Legacy, what do you think will happen with Rook and Alpha Bravo and the original team members? I don't know. I loved Rook. I think Rook was, of Combiner Wars, that mold that made Rook was probably one of the best deluxe molds of that year. When I got to work on the Tarantulas repaint of it, I was so happy that they went with that mold because I love that mold to death. I don't know. It's funny. Like, they were half like IDW creations in a lot of ways too. It was part of them going, we want to, because we all know why it happened. It started with Superion, and they did Alpha Bravo as the fifth member taking out Fireflight. And they did that on purpose because they were able to tool up a helicopter early that could be used for Swindle and everything not Swindle, why am I blanking right now? Shame on me. Vortex, to do Vortex early, like to have that mold made. And it's the same thing. Like when they did, Rook, they were probably going like, ooh, maybe that could be used for like one of the other teams in the future or something. They were all kind of going to be repaints of themselves. That's always the case with like Combiner Wars really is a case study in repaints, because they were like, we gotta make one mold and we gotta repaint it like a million times to make it worth our while. And between Fun Publications making Beast Wars characters, between Hasbro directly making like combiners of Jazz, and well, not Jazz, combiners of Sideswipe and Sunstreaker and Prowl and Ironhide and Optimus Prime, making combiners of even Starscream, making combiners of Galvatron, making combiners of Cyclonus. They really pushed it very hard to make sure that if they're going to do combiner teams, everyone's going to be a combiner. And we got the exact same thing when we got Titan's Return, where it's like everyone's going to be a headmaster. I would like to see Rook come back, get a nice little update of him, because he's a cool character. Alpha Bravo too, I guess. I mean, I don't know if anyone wanted the orange helicopter. I think when people think of an orange and white helicopter in Transformers, that really is branded with blades in a lot of ways from the original Protectobot team. But I think they were more IDW creations, if anything. They really were. They were just something for the comics. Kind of like unfortunately, we might never ever see Victorion again. I feel like, and I love Victorion, and I love her repaint of Mega Empress, but I don't know if we'll ever see it again. Timmy K. Poindexter Jr. Esquire, love that name, for the super chat for $5. Hey Proto, for once I don't have to cook dinner during the stream because I'm heading out of town for spring break. That's awesome, man. So I got to ask, what's for dinner? Pizza. I ran so late to do the stream tonight that I literally hit Little Caesars and picked up pizza. Here, I even have a photo of it on my phone, because it's a lot of pizza. And not only is it a lot of pizza, it's the Bat Calzone. Here, the Bat Calzone. Look at all of that Bat Calzone. Look at that Bat Calzone. This one I picked up on Thursday. This was my Thursday purchase. You can see it. You barely, it doesn't focus. But that was my Thursday purchase. And then I bought more, because it's getting discontinued. I think April 4th is when we're no more Bat Calzone in Canada. And it's okay. It's not the best, but I can't argue with cheap pizza. Can't argue with cheap pizza. Sometimes if you want to spoil yourself, you might as well make it affordable. Dreamer out there with the $5 super chat. Thank you, Dreamer. Do you think War for Cybertron 19 to 20 in 30 years will be thought as a quintessential collection for Generation 1 today? I'll be honest with you, no. Primarily because I feel like every 10 years Hasbro revisits the well of those characters and tries to do it one better. I kind of look at it like what Hasbro did with G.I. Joe and Star Wars, where they went, all right, we're going to give you these characters. And they did it. All right, we're going to give you these characters with better proportions and better articulation in the 3-inch point. And then they did it. And then they do another 10 years, because that's how it works. It's like Power of the Force, 1997. Here's Luke Skywalker. Star Wars 3-inch, 2007. Here's your Luke Skywalker, but better articulation in 3-inch point. Star Wars 2017 Black Series, 6-inch, more articulation. So I feel like every 10 years they revisit those characters. And it's the same thing with G.I. Joe. They revisit those characters. They did that, what was it, the G.I. Joe 25th anniversary line, where they gave us like these amazing renditions, but in 3-inch scale. And now we have 6-inch. So I think that every 10 years they're going to revisit Prowl, and they're going to go, all right, what did we do with Prowl last time that we could do better this time to get people to buy again? Well, he was an exclusive with Earthrise, with Amazon. He wasn't easy to get. Maybe we could do a new tooling and everything that looks even more like the Datsun Z, and then we could get away with it and do something cool. I mean, that's kind of what I see happening, because The sad truth is, in terms of the aging of the value of a lot of those old classics toys, I mean, tell me, and in all honesty, because I pay attention to the prices, unless I missed something, tell me one 2007 or 2008 classics Transformer that has increased exponentially in value and demand because it is a better rendition than its newer counterparts. Optimus Prime, no one cares about that Voyager, even with all the upgrade kits of City Commander and stuff that helped that value, and its Ultra Magnus repaint. The Seeker Jets, some people like them, but no one really cares. Everyone wants those Voyager ones now, or masterpieces. Hot Rod, or Astro Train, or the Bumblebee, no one cares. And look, you might enjoy them. You might have a fond memory of them. I have everything of them, and I will always keep them. But I see how they reach a certain apex of popularity and value in the market, and then it kind of just slowly dies a slow death as Hasbro prepares the better version. That's how they keep making money. Why would they make something that's a lesser version than what was then before? People just be like, well, I'm already happy with this. Why am I going to go out and buy the whatever Legacy 2.0 one? So that's why I think we'll never truly peak. I feel like on purpose sometimes they don't do it 100%. A lot of times people like look at stuff and they go like, you know, like that's a great Tigatron, but at the same time, I mean, you know, it still could be better. You know, we're almost there. It's almost flawless. It's really good though, but we still could be better. And they leave that opening. Like, ooh, that Rhinox, like it's really good, but it still could be better. And they leave that opening. You know, at some point we're going to get deluxe classes again of Rat Trap with better tooling that'll be even more accurate to the show model. They do that on purpose because if you satisfy the customer permanently and give them the best you could possibly give them of that character, you probably will never be able to sell them that character again. Or you keep selling them Optimus Prime indefinitely because you give them a slightly better version every time. Imagine if Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime came out in 2006 in Classics. Imagine that came out. That's what we got. That was our Optimus Prime. We're done. No one would have cared after any words of anything we've gotten at that point. Yeah, then you'd have to go to G2 and Armada and stuff and do the different iterations, but you would have been done. Yeah, you get the masterpiece at some point, but otherwise that would have been it. And I think that that's a big issue, is that they always kind of make sure that they don't give you 100% the best, because then you lose them. And you want to keep getting them. Like as a hot rod collector, how many different hot rod toys did I buy on that journey to get the best hot rod G1 figure? It's like I bought the original hot rod. They got that sale. Awesome. Then it's like, okay, maybe we'll get them to buy the MPO9 because that's going to be your best hot rod. Okay. No, maybe the Classics one's going to be your best hot rod. Okay, we're going to repaint that Classics hot rod in more G1 accurate colors. Buy that one. Okay, you know what? We're going to do another masterpiece of hot rod. Maybe that's going to be the best hot rod. Okay, now Studio Series 86. That's going to be the best hot rod. Do you see how many times? Now, if I would have got Studio Series 86 from the get-go, yeah, I'd probably still buy the other ones. But the point is that, you know, most people would have just been like, no, I'm happy. I have peaked. I don't know. I don't have anywhere to go from here. So that's why I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. I really don't. I think that they always leave an opening for themselves. It's just a smart business move, if anything. You know, it's a smart move to do, primarily because it kind of keeps them always hooked from their fans. As, you know, some people might think it's scummy, but it's a reality. That's how you keep them coming back. It's really how it's done, more than anything else. And I mean, I constantly look at different interpretations of some characters, and I see how they purposely leave out here and there. Like Mirage is not perfectly a Formula One car. He still kind of has weird proportions with his spoiler. Like, okay, they do the Datsun brothers, and those are pretty good. But you know what? They make them all kind of like hard to get in different kinds of ways or exclusives except Smokescreen. So that way, like, they could do it again later, and those people who weren't able to get the Amazon exclusive will be able to get, some kind of different iteration down the line. There's always a way. Downright Superb with the member question. How would you structure the next wave of TF Legacy? What figures would make the most sense for the concept? Well, outside of what we know, because what we know is different than what I want, because we do know what's going to be next. See, I don't know. Like, what is the story? Like, I need to know, what is the story with these Energon weapons? Like, are we building to something here? Does something make sense with that? What is the story with the combining weapons? Here, I'll just pull it up, What is the story with the combining weapons with the core classes? What's going on with that? Is that going to be available in every wave? Is every wave going to be like, okay, there's going to be 3 weapons with each core class figure of each wave, and you got to collect all 3 figures to get the combined weapon? Is that the selling point gimmick? Is that what we're going with here? So it's something where how would I structure it? See, number one, there is no storytelling beats. There is no like, okay, you could clearly see there's specific characters that are leading to a certain story. Like, oh, these are all headmasters, so we need more headmasters. Everything is all over the place. If I said Wave 2 was going to be Movie Grimlock from the Michael Bay movies, G1 Shockwave, Sideways from Armada, and animated Jazz, that would make as much story context or copyright context of writing compared to what Wave 1 is. Because Wave 1 is all over the place too. Wave 1 is G1, it's G2, it's what else we got? I'm trying to remember what else is there, but there's a whole bunch. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch. We got a amazing red super chat. Red is the best. Now I got to get out the red transformer. Here is a bootleg Ravage, oversized in red. Red super chat for 50 bones from Princeton Phalanx 59. Thank you, Princeton, for the awesome super chat. I'm going to give it a good one. Always got to get out the red boys. That was cute. I always have them nearby anyways. Princeton Phalanx 59, thank you for the awesome super chat, brother. I have gotten most of Legacy figures except Kickback. That Laser Prime is a good design with its transformation. I bought 2 drag strips, one for combining and one for standalone. A lot of people do that one, yeah. I'm guilty of that with some of my old Combiner Wars because I got the Japanese versions and the American ones. Do you buy 2 of the same figures for the same reasons? Well, there you go. So what I used to do for the longest time was I would just buy one figure. Then around, I want to say, Armada, maybe around Car Robots in Disguise, I would buy 2 of a character I really, really liked. But that's also, you have to keep in mind space, So, like, I'd buy 2 of them. So, like, oh, I really like Hot Shot from Armada. I'm going to buy 2 of that, like, of the Hot Rod colored one. Or, like, and I could see it in my collection. Like, here, I'll even turn it to show you, right? Like, so to give you an example, right? Like, see, oh, man, you can barely see it, though. Here's an example, right? So, I really liked Excellion. Let me move the microphone a little bit. Yeah, I have a little Microman guy that chills on my magnets here. I'll put him upside down. There we go. So, like, I really like Excellion. I really like Nitro Convoy. So I bought 2 of them. And if you ever see something in alt mode in my display, it's because I have it in robot mode and in alt mode because I love that character. So, yeah, I do buy 2. Now, when we're talking hot rod, it's Noah's Ark. 2 of everything. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5, sometimes too many. Sometimes too expensive. Masterpiece like MP09 hot rod. No joke, guys, no joke, and I know it's cringy. I think I own it like 4 times because I was so obsessed with that mold when it came out. But yeah, I do buy multiple, but it's always of a character I really like. Or the only other exception is the Masterpiece Beast War stuff, because I can't decide on one alt mode. It is the only toy line of Transformers where the alt mode has just as much character and appeal as the robot mode. To have Optimus Primal in robot mode is awesome, but how could you not have him in ape mode with all the different facial expressions and Cheetor? And I mean, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous, man. You know, so I kind of end up in that kind of situation too. You know, I kind of end up in that situation where those masterpieces, some of them are so good that I want to have them in 2 modes, and it gets really expensive. Really, really, really expensive. I know. Let's put it this way. I didn't get 2 Tigatrons. You know what I mean? I didn't get 2 Dinobots. Because that would have just broke the bank for me to get another Tigatron just to have them in Tiger mode. But I did get 2 Cheetors. I got 2 Primals. You know, I made sure to kind of, at least initially when they were affordable, to get them. But that unfortunately wasn't forever. You know, but Hot Rod, yeah. Hot Rod, yeah. I think that's it really, though. Like, outside of that, I don't really buy doubles of any others. Even, I'm not big on army building. You know, like, I remember when the Viacons were a thing in Transformers Prime, I thought about it, and I bought, like, a couple of the Viacons, but, like, the Legend scale ones to kind of army build, and I do have a few. But that was about it. That's the most I've ever army build. I never army build sweeps unless it was, like, an army build set from BotCon that was purpose, like, it was sold that way. It's just favorite characters. You know, I want to own, like, a lot of my favorite characters, mostly because I want to have them in the display. I want to have them in alt mode, and sometimes I want to have them on my desk just so I can mess with them. I mean, how many of this guy do I got? You know what I mean? Like, this guy, my boy, you know? My boy. So I hope that answers that a little bit, Princeton. Like, it's something where, like, it's going to get expensive, and when you have as big a collection I do, buying 2 of everything is kind of brutal. And like you mentioned, like with the combiners, I only was able to have both modes on display because I would buy the United Warriors Japanese versions of the Combiner War stuff, and then I'd also have the American ones. So I'd have the combined modes would be the Japanese ones, and the American ones would be the individual robots. And I wouldn't have them in alt mode. I'd have them in individual robot mode. The only time I didn't do that was I'd love to own United Warriors Defensor. Never got that one. I want to get it one day. I'll find it one day probably when people won't care. When they'll do a legacy one, then the price will go down on the Combiner Wars one. But not the Combiner Wars one, the United Warrior version, the Japanese one. I'll get it one day. Everything is relative. One day it all comes to me. I just go to a BotCon or a TFCon and it's there staring back at me at a decent price because people want to get rid of it. Because something better comes along. Which is the beginning of our story before. But thank you again for the $50 super chat, my friend. Thank you very much. That is really, really awesome of you. That's really cool. It's that kind of stuff that keeps this thing going. That keeps this whole madness going. Woo! Thanks again, brother. Media Max, Protomang, are we still referring to the War for Cybertron trilogy and Legacy as Generations? Or is Legacy replacing Generations like Generations replaced Classics? I always, I always hated the term chug. I hate that term. I never liked it. I always just go, yeah, our Classics S generation. I don't have a term for it myself. I just go, yeah, generation flavor, Classics flavor, mainline retail generation updated product line. Whatever it'll be. For all we know, Legacy might be a one-shot. For all we know, Legacy is just going to be 2022, early 2023, and then it'll be Uprising, and then it'll be, Dawn of the Past, and then it'll be something else. Like they'll have some, because Legacy refers to the past. What is another one? Generations, it refers to the past. Legacy refers to the past. The Classics refers to the past. So what other words could we use for that, Throwback. Transformers Throwback. That'd be a terrible name. But that's kind of what they're going with, so I'm pretty sure they'll have something like that too. I mean, even Kingdom. Kingdom was Animal Kingdom. Like you could see what the reading room together, what they were planning. Transformers X Shrek. Well, you'd have to do a Puss in Boots from one of the the cat molds from Beast Wars. And who would be Shrek? Who would be something that's an ogre? I do not know. And Donkey. Donkey you could kind of pull off what maybe the Wolfang mold. You retool it. And there's your Shrek set. Donkey, I love those movies. They're great movies. The first and second one are top tier. Proto, who is your favorite army builder? I personally got a Battle Master, Target Master. I personally got any Target Master, Battle Master I could get my hands on, swap and custom paints and parts. Favorite army builder? That's a tough one. I never thought of that. Favorite army builder mold, I will say, was when BotCon Army built the Sharkticon Energon mold. Anyone who has that Sharkticon Energon mold knows how amazing that mold is. And shame on Hasbro for not repainting it enough. We got the original, like I put him up front. That just shows you how important he is. He's right up front there. The original was fantastic. What an incredible mold. And then it took BotCon doing a Skybite repaint and then some traditional Sharkticon colors with it to do something. And then there was I think United Transformers United, which was yet again another Classics-esque kind of line in Japan. They did the Arc color scheme. Or excuse me, Axelon color scheme, which that one was kind of ugly. But they should have done so much with that mold. They should have repainted the hell out of it. I mean, when we got this guy coming 5 times now, and that mold, it was like con exclusives and Japanese exclusives, and we just got the one in the West, and it was a fantastic mold with awesome weapons, little turning turrets and everything. Good stuff. I'm gonna go with him because that mold was fantastic. Andy Davis, Transformer X, the Westboro Baptist Church. I don't know, man. I'm not up to date with my religious stuff, so I wouldn't be able to tell you who that could be. But who would be a good Pope Transformer? I guess an Alpha Trion mold. It's got the cloak and everything. It's kind of the easy one. Well, actually, where's that? Oh no, I already put him back in the display. The that new hot rod there, the Ultra Class one from Cyberverse, kind of has a very religious kind of connotations and stuff. Downright superb. Proto, I spent all Friday night transforming a bunch of different figures in my collection. Do you often go back to old toy lines and transform certain figures too? My Instagram, I do it all the time. All the time. If you look at my Instagram, all the stuff that I'll just be sitting around. No joke, guys. This is how I decide my Instagram. I literally record the segment for the podcast the night before, to plan everything so it goes live because I'm at work when it goes live. And then I literally sit back and I go, what are we going to do photos of today? Should I do all the molds of Wheelie? Should I do, all the ice cream twin toys that ever existed? Should I do all the movie side swipes? Oh, there's some cool Creos. Should I do all the Creos that had horns? Should I do some bot shots? I literally look at all the old toys, and they all get some kind of mileage. If you look at my Instagram, I rarely actually take photos of super new stuff. It's usually stuff that's really old because it gives me an excuse to go back and mess with those things. And it's funny too because you have that muscle memory of oh, how did this transform again? Like when I was messing with, if anyone saw my Instagram post with Overcharge, the taxi transformer, I was transforming him, and I transform all of these guys without instructions. I just guess it. And when I was transforming him, I was going like, is this right? Like I'm like, I don't remember how it was supposed to be, because with my mini cons, sometimes I put them in vehicle mode because they take less space that way, and they actually stand up properly because they don't fall over. But man, I wish I could bring the camera and show you guys over there. But it's just, I always do something with my Instagram that's always older toys. Like if I pick up like a brand new, like a Skybite mold from Cyberverse, I'll then look at the other Skybite toys and go, oh, maybe we could do a nice Skybite collage. And right away, there you go. Skybite debuted in 2000, aka Gel Shark from Car Robots. That's 20 years of Skybite toys right there. You're talking BotCon, you're talking Generations, you're talking the original, you're talking the Japanese versions. So that's what kind of happens. And then I dive into the merchandise, Tiny Turbo Changers, Tiny Titans, Robot Heroes, and, Bot Shots, Creo. I always mess with old stuff all the time. And it gives me an excuse to do it. So I love messing with the old product. And again, it helps me remember, oh, that was a pretty cool mold. JR Mina from the Philippines. What up, brother? JR Mina, speaking of MP Beast Wars, do you have MP Beast Megatron? If so, how does the waist how's your waist crotch? Has it broken off yet? So a lot of people have said how fragile it is. I bought mine. I transformed it into Dino mode. I was like, okay, that looks kind of cool. Transformed it back into robot mode, put it on display, and I bought it at TFCon 2018. I think it was 18. TFCon 2018 or 19. I don't remember. It was the year that Julian won a masterpiece also, Pulse Dragon, one of our buddies. I bought it. So I bought it. I didn't pre-order it. I bought it a little later because I knew that Captured Prey was going to have it cheap. Shout out to Captured Prey. They always give me good deals. They're not a sponsor. They're really cool dudes. And I remember transforming it back, put it in display, and then reading up on people's cracked crotches. Giggity. So then I was like, uh-oh. It's the same thing. Like my Tigatron, I had it in Tiger mode. I transformed it to robot mode. I put it in display, and then I pre-ordered that, so I got it the same day as everyone else. And then everyone online was talking about scraped paint on the crest and everything, and I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm never transforming him again. So usually I've been lucky where I find out about the problem before it happens, and then I just never touch it ever again. No pun intended. The only time ever I've had an issue where something broke was GPS. That's the only time I've ever been screwed over with something. My original Armada Optimus Prime broke. I got it replaced. I bought a junker from TFCon. So now my Armada Optimus Prime is minty again, but I will never touch him again because he's in combiner mode. Oh, you can barely see him because of the box next to Overload. But he's in combiner mode, and he will stay that way because that gold plastic will snap like a mofo. Any of the ones that are GPS, ain't touching them. But thank you again from the Philippines. Tom Laney, Tom Laney wants to know, how long do the molds last, or do they destroy most of them after they're done when they become knockoffs, or do they have multiple molds? Molds could last forever. One of the best examples is Gigatron, aka Car Robots, aka Robots in Disguise 2001 Megatron. So picture that mold, right? It got tons of repaints and retools, and the last time it was used was BotCon 2016, 15 years after that mold came out. So imagine some molds you could see 15 years later, and they'll still do stuff with it. Another great example was with Fun Publication. They were doing the Pretender shells. They took that old Grand Maximus Pretender shell, Grand Pretender shell, and literally 21 years later used it again. And let's not even talk about reissues, whether it be G1 or otherwise. What about the Beast Wars reissues? Does that mean they got rid of that Cheetor mold? No, they didn't, because you got all those reissues. Trust me, those molds are going to be around forever. Now that they're all done with computers and stuff and their CAD models, they will sit around until the end of time, waiting for the next time for, hey, it's 20th anniversary War for Cybertron. We're going to get a reissue of this, like, see you in 2043, Who knows? Who knows? Let's see. Hold on. I don't want to miss anything, guys, because everything's flying here, and we have 5. You know what? I'm going to give you guys some extra time because I came late. So we're going to do some extra time. We're going to go over a little bit today. Proto Mang, who is the definitive best TF to have beer with? Probably Rat Trap, I'm going to say. Rat Trap seems like the kind of guy that would do that. McAdams is a beer server, but he doesn't seem like, he seems like the kind of like beer server that, or like a bartender that would just talk with you, but more like in helping you out with your life. Where Rat Trap seems more like the kind of guy that you'd want to go bar hopping with, because he's I know this great little hole in the wall where they don't wear their skid plates, or their chest plates, So like that's Rat Trap, bar none. No question. No question. Downright superb. I'm ashamed to admit that I never transformed Generations 6-shot. Too daunting. I'm sorry. Is he? Is he really that's really a crazy one? I transformed the 6-night version from that big box set. And that kind of gave, because I got that one before I got the 6-shot. And that kind of gave me my feel for it already. So then when I got the 6-shot, I just kind of put it next to it, and I didn't transform it either. So you're kind of not alone there. But I transformed the 6-night version. So that kind of gave me my experience. I went, oh, okay, that's how this mode works. Oh, okay, that's how that transforms. So when I got, 6-shot, I was like, well, it's going to be the same thing, but with a wolf face now. So you're not alone, but I still transformed the other one. Cringe McCringle for the $5 super chat. Speaking of breaking figures, I once had a 2007 Protoform Starscream, but both arms are broken off due to screws being so tight. My brother, right in my kitchen right now, is a 2007 Protoform Starscream, arm broken off. Obviously it's a ball joint, but the arm broke, like it all broke because it's all GPS, and his gun. You know how it has like the gun on the end? It has like these two little pieces on the end of it that kind of go like this, like the gun's like this, and it has these two pieces. One of the pieces is broken off, and it's literally sitting in a Ziploc bag waiting for me to crazy glue one day. Like it's in my kitchen. I just am waiting for the day to find time, and I'm going to try to fix that Starscream. That thing is a giant GPS mess. And according to Aaron Archer in the chat who designed it, he designed it in a day. He designed it in one day, one of the quickest turnarounds, I would imagine, for a Transformer toy. So props to Mr. Archer. And go watch his podcast, God damn it. Go watch his podcast. What are you doing? Go watch it. The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Go subscribe. We have a new episode coming very soon. Do that. Just wanted to say that. Apologize. Downright Superb Proto, did you deliberately delay the podcast to keep fans wanting more? You diabolical and highly dubious, whatever that means. No, I had a very busy day today. Like, I had to hit up like 4 different places because with the new TV that I bought, the problem is the display it's on, the plug is, like how the plugs are really fat. So I wanted to find one of those flat plugs. But I didn't want to buy off of Amazon because sometimes you're buying and it's like low quality Amazon purchase. So I wanted to go to, this is a place in Canada called Canadian Tire. I went to Canadian Tire and bought a Nova brand, which is like the good brand, kind of high quality flat plugs that have a surge protector on it because it's a smart TV. So you want to get a surge protector. So I went and bought that. And then I had to hit up a few places to check out some toys because I had, cocaine's a hell of a drug, like I always say, for toys. So went to check that out. Then I went to go get some food because I'm going to do some cooking tomorrow. And then I was like, oh man, I'm running really late. You have to understand, to put the live stream together, I have to do all the slides. Every single, well, okay, maybe not these ones, but like all of these slides, I put these together. And on average, like, look, just to put this slide together, I got to get all the proper images. I got to get everything. Then I have to import it here. Each slide, let's be nice, takes a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes to do. So if I have like 5 slides, that's an hour. If I have like 10 slides, that's like 2 hours. So I came super late and giggity. And it just, I had to, just kind of like, oh, I need an extra 30 minutes. I need an extra 30 minutes to get everything together. I have to reboot the computer so that all the cache is freed up so nothing crashes. It's a whole process. It's a whole process. Or absence makes the heart grow fonder. Or I'm just an idiot and I need a new computer. Whatever that means. But thank you, brother. JR Mina, what makes me scared is transforming modern figures, cheap, clear plastic, example, Earthrise, Datsun molds. You know what? It really depends. Like, look, clear plastic, but all the joints are the solid ABS, good plastic. Look at, like, they were smart. They knew, like, okay, clear plastic, but the joints are at least, they use that strong ABS. So they're not stupid when it comes to certain of them. But yeah, there is a few that kind of fall through the cracks, unfortunately. No pun intended with the cracks, that are kind of fragile. I still think GPS and BPS, brown plastic and gold plastic, still is an issue. Still something that floats around to this day. Tom Laney, what figures do you think have the most complex transformation, not counting Masterpiece? I think some car robot molds can be complex. Yeah, the common ones are the more shell-formy kind of car robot molds. Excuse me. I ate a lot today before we did the stream. Car robot molds and Beast Wars Neo, which those are the reissue ones are there. Also, some of the alternators, like alternators Grimlock, he could be a little bit of a headache. That one. Alternators Grimlock was one of them because you want to get all those panels to line up properly. Kind of becomes a bit of a beast, unfortunately. That's something I can think of. A lot of them are still pretty easy. And you said I can't count Masterpiece, so I'm not going to bring those up. People always say Sentinel Prime Leader Class from Dark of the Moon, but I don't think so. And even though I needed to look up the instructions for it, I mean, Revenge of the Fallen Combiner Jet Prime there, the leader classes, but it's not tough. But I had to look up instructions. I couldn't do it like off the top of my head because I wanted to remember specifically how the visual was for it to have it on display. Let's go. Where are we at here? We're going to only take a few more guys, and then we're going to call it quits for tonight. Where are we at? Proto, thanks for all you do. You're doing Lord Primus's work. Well, thank you, downright superb, for all the love and support and everything you give us towards the pod. We try our best, my friend. T-Formers 2002 wants to know, hey, Proto, do you think Buzzworthy will do a pack of all the BotBot show characters? I think the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line will not. I think BotBots molds, for the time being, will be found only in the BotBots line. I think when BotBots as a line is done, then maybe those molds might find itself into Transformer product, where we're going to get like, a figure in a BotBot or something like that. It'll be an accompanying piece. That way they could get more mileage out of those molds. Mind you, they got a lot of mileage out of those molds already. I think every BotBot mold's been repainted at least a minimum 3 times now, if not. Well, maybe a few haven't, but in general, like I think like 70% of the line has been repainted 3 times. So, especially when you have the Gold Rush ones, and yeah, for sure. I think we'll see them in the future, though. I think when BotBots is done as a line, Hasbro's going to look at those molds and go, yeah, those rats, we could pack those. We could have the pack rat. We can a whole bunch of rats together, have rat traps and stuff and crazy stuff. Like some of the crazier ones, like, the cat lady. I don't know where that's going to belong in Transformers, the cat that turns into the cat lady. But I could really see, like, the Autobot logo. How could that not be used in a Transformer pack-in? For sure. Faux show. Proto, don't transform Titans Return Werewolf. The thin cockpit plastic crumbles to pieces. Really? Okay. Is it the reissue one like they did? Because they did that the reissue, or is it the original one? I have the original. Tom Laney, can we get Funko Pops of BotBots? Kidding. You're gonna get NFT BotBot Funkos, so you could get Burgertron. He's one of 100, and he's currently on eBay right now for like, probably $200. While on this mofo could just go, hey guys, I got an NFT. Sure. Yeah, it's called an animated GIF on my phone, and I'm gonna walk around TFCon like this. I'm gonna make a chain, and I'm just gonna walk around like this, going like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Respect me. Like me. No? No one like me? No? No? And then my phone dies because nobody calls me. No, the original Weird Wolf. Okay. I keep calling him Weird Wolf because I don't want to call him by his trademark name, his trademark save name. The original Titan Return Weird Wolf breaks. Mine has suffered. Okay, good to know. I'm not ever transforming him ever again then. Good to know. I find tons of the mind wipes. I find tons of those in the secondary market. I've yet to find a Weird Wolf. So now I know that they're going to be broken. Anyways, guys, that's it for tonight. Again, I want to thank my sponsors. I want to thank Hasbro and Symbiote Studios for sponsoring the podcast. I got to put it out there again. Again, they're right now at WonderCon. So if you're in the Anaheim area, be sure to check them out. If not, go on their website right now. They have tons of new Transformer merchandise, the pins, the shirts, and the plush. So be sure to check that out. If you are in the Anaheim area, be sure to swing by, check by their booth, and go get some cool Transformer stuff. And go hug Catnip Bravo. Go hug him. Let him know that you loved him in Cat Quest 2, which is one of the video games he's in right now for the Nintendo Switch. And that's one of the collaboratives, too. We're going to have Catnip Bravo Transformer collaboratives all on the top there. Be sure to check those out. Again, thank you, Hasbro, for supporting the podcast, too. Again, check out BotBots right now on Netflix. 10 episodes of juicy goodness, if you have not already. And thank you to all the fans who came, the awesome super chats, especially I'm going to mention Mr. $50 over here of Princeton. Princeton gave the epic super chat today, but all the guys who gave the super chats, all of you deserve a clap and an awesome. Thanks, everyone, for coming. We try to give you guys the most entertaining live streams. I like to believe that we're probably the most entertaining of the Transformer live streams. I look at the numbers. And I compare it to some of my other compatriots. And you guys always come in droves. And you seem to have a good time. And we have some very cool people who come to hang out, both from the Hasbro side of things, the former Hasbro side of things, and just the hardcore fans. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Take care of yourself. It's a beautiful world out there. And you should enjoy it for all the beauty there is. Hopefully I'll see you at a con in the near future, and then we could shake hands, take photos, and wonder where we went wrong in our lives when we surrounded ourselves with 10,000 plastic robots from the planet Cybertron. Anyways, take care, and as always, roll out.